everybody, Tony D and little Joan here with some good news. Remember when we used to do good news to try to keep our spirits up? Well, I kind of got some good news. Things I think are turning around, or at least these are some news stories I think are sort of turning the tide. So, smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books at Amazon.com. It includes Wokeistan, a novel, Hollywoke, another novel, The Pineys, books 1 through 5, and of course, we're on Rumble and BitChute. Right, Joan? Rumble and BitChute. Alternative tech. Yes. Yes, Joan. You want to come over here? All right, you got to sit here. Be nice for the video. Okay? No growling. No growling. She wants to sit in the sunbeam. God, I love this story. The teen Vogue editor who was fired because of her old tweets. Yes, Joan. She's a communist. I know you hate communists. Okay, now you're going to sit here. Yeah, she seems to be a communist. All of Team Vogue, I assume, is a communist. But apparently, Anna Wintour, who I want to say she's above the editor-in-chief, probably the owner. I'm not sure what the hierarchy is there. She tried to save her, and that's coming out, which is a sign that she's next. She's next. And of course it exposes their rank hypocrisy. After canceling everybody else, these lefties think they can just get away with this sort of behavior and not get canceled themselves. You see how it works? You see how it works? Yeah, I hate to see it. Actually, I love to see it. If you had just been normal, if you had just abided by the Constitution of the United States and said, well, it's freedom of speech, we don't mess around with that, no one would care, and you'd still have your job. You wouldn't have this stressful nonsense going on at your business, and it would all be over. It would all just blow over. She'd apologize and we'd go, well, whatever. But instead, goodbye. All right, big news. Capitol Police to remove fencing, admitting no credible threat against Congress. This is a good sign. I mean, this just looks... Look at this. Look at this. Back in the 80s, we used to see these dystopian future nightmares. And they used to build sets like this with the, except, the Capitol in the background would have a big chunk taken out of it and be all, soot covered from a missile hitting it or something. But yeah, this just looks bad. This just looks like zombie times, and it's totally unnecessary. The January 6th thing, I'll call it a thing, just didn't require this. It required doing your jobs, Capitol Police, which I don't think you did for some reason. But I'm not here to propagate misinformation, YouTube. I'm just here for positive vibes. German police clashed with protesters at Kassel demonstration against beer virus restrictions. Why is this positive? Well, people are getting upset at the beer virus restrictions. I know, Joan. I know. The beer virus restrictions. They're terrible. So the fact that it's happening in Europe, because we have a bunch of elites currently in power who worship the Europeans, is a good sign, because they'll look to that and go, oof, we don't want that. So I think the beer virus thing may be loosening up. There was another article, an op-ed about, what are we going to do when it's over? Which I almost went into, but it was kind of a weird take. But I think they're at least laying the groundwork for it to potentially, abandon it. Schumer begs airline not to move New York jobs to Florida. Oh, beg some more, Schumer. Beg some more. Gee, I wonder why they want to move out of New York, a state that's been shut down, a state that is run by Democrats into the ground. They're leaving because you and Cuomo and de Blasio and all your blue buddies, you're screwing everything up. You don't understand economics and you don't care. You just want to extract money from people through taxes and get yourself reelected. So F you. And I hope they kick you out of office because of it. I hope not only do you go out of office, that the Democratic Party brand is so damaged they can't win an election except in the most hardcore blue areas. Unacceptable. Turkish President Erdogan defends Vladimir Putin, scolds Biden, says his comments unbecoming a U.S. president. This is how bad it's gotten for Biden. That the leader of Turkey, a bit of a strong man himself, actually can scold Biden publicly for his idiotic comments. That's how horrible Biden is at this. You know, Biden says this stuff and then Turkey just is like, what are you doing? And this guy is terrible. He's awful. He is a terrible leader. Should be taken out of office, but he's practically a dictator, so that's not going to happen. But when you got the president of Turkey scolding you, and of course, Biden's just going to ignore it. He's just going to take it because, you know, the U.S. press isn't really going to cover this in any kind of significant way. Nobody's really going to hear about it, so Biden will just go, oh, a couple of days it'll all blow over. It looks bad. Our enemies, our allies, and I don't know what you'd call Turkey, they're all rapidly losing respect for the United States and going right back to taking advantage of us. It's not good. Not good. But the positive thing in that, everything's positive in this. The positive thing is that it's being exposed, you know, and that this could finally help push Biden out. Not that you'll do much better with Kamala Harris, but maybe she won't be embarrassing. Maybe she won't say and do embarrassing things like this. I mean, how much worse could she be at this point? Federal judge warns dangerous media very close to one-party control in blistering libel case dissent. Judge Lawrence Silberman calls New York Times, Washington Post virtually Democratic Party broadsheets. Well, thanks for getting caught up. Federal appeal court's judge has offered a blistering dissent in a libel case. The case centers around a 2018 report from Global Witness Publishing that accused Liberian government officials Christina Ta and Randolph McClain of accepting bribes from Exxon. Ta and McClain sued Global Witness, alleging defamation, and their claims were dismissed in Friday's ruling. However, in the course of his partial dissent, D.C. Court Judge Lawrence Silberman went on an unprecedented written tirade against the press in which he argued that the Supreme Court should revisit the landmark 1964 New York Times versus Sullivan ruling that granted media broad First Amendment protections from being sued by public officials. I don't know about this. I mean, I'm glad he kind of had the tirade, but I don't think you should be messing around with the First Amendment. Here you go, Joan. Sit there. Sit there. I'm not going to put you down yet. Oh, my God. She's just so squirmy today. But I think the fact that this article came out at all is a positive development. People in high places are going, what the F is happening here? They're finally on board with, yes, the Democratic Party controls most of the media, and all they do all day is genuflect towards them. Okay, Joan, go away then. Go away. You don't want to be in the videos. Go sit in the sunbeam. Feinstein says Senate should look at reforming the filibuster. Okay, that's good too, because it's likely she wouldn't vote to end it. And, I didn't think going back to the old ways was necessarily a bad thing. But this is more signs that the Democrats are starting to pull back. So that's a good thing. Although Feinstein herself is almost as senile as Joe. Rashida Tali, people policing my words for saying F white supremacy. Yes, this is the world you wanted, Rashida Tlaib. You are being policed. People are policing my words while completely failing to fight against white supremacy, she said, following backlash for her use of a profanity. This really speaks volumes up where we are and the work we have to do. Well, it's probably because you posted something and Twitter deleted it. Oh no, Rashida Tlaib. Is censorship now a bad thing? Well, maybe you should have spoke up when people on the right were being censored and silenced. Ooh, but you didn't do that. You didn't do that. So it's only you. It's only your side. So no one cares. No one cares. You get canceled. F you. You deserve to be canceled. I hope the Twitter mob piles on you and never stops. Until you get on board with the Constitution of the United States, till you stop calling everybody a white supremacist, F you. F you. Chinese media blame Donald Trump and Tom Cotton for anti-Asian violence. Yeah, well, because that's the Chinese state media. They're trying to stir up more trouble. When are people going to get on board with this? Are you paying attention, media? The Chinese media will destroy you. They will destroy you. You will either fall in line or they will destroy you. That's the only two choices you have. You can fight them and hope you keep your job and hope you can turn the boat around within your corporation, or you can lie down, bend over, and take it. Because those are the only two courses of action against the Chinese communists. That's the way they are. They're very subtle about it. They'll offer you 2 stacks. Just like Joe Biden, maybe 1 stack. Joe Biden gets 2. You only get 1 stack. But you have already given up so much ground. So much ground. That's why everybody comes to YouTube for their news. Or, well, excuse me, BitChute now and Rumble. Representative Katko on U.S. sending beer virus vaccines to Mexico and Canada. We need to take care of our people first. Duh. You know, when you're in the plane and the mask drops down, they tell you to put it over your own face first and then help a child. You know why? Because if you help the child and then pass out, you might pass out halfway through putting it on the child's face, or you might just, and then you both be dead. You got to help yourself. Now, I'm not against helping Mexico and Canada, but we have to take care of our own people first. That's why they pay you taxes. It's amazing. People in this country, they make these grand assumptions that everything works. And one of the things they assume is, oh, well, you know, we'll get vaccinated first, right? No. I know people, they're in their mid-70s. They're scheduled out all the way out to May to get their shot. May. They should not be waiting that long. Oh, but you're going to send vaccines to Mexico and Canada? Another person I heard who works in one of these places said they have a sign about, oh, we don't take in walk-ins, but they actually do. And the reason they say they don't on the sign is because they know they'll run out of vaccines the moment they put up, you know, walk-ins welcome. So instead, they're trying to dole them out slowly, which to me makes no sense. If the idea of the game is to vaccinate as many people as possible, then the sign should say, walk-ins welcome. You dole them out as quickly as possible, and then you ask for more. And they could be doing double what they're doing. But instead, they're kind of dragging their feet. Or you have to go the other way, which I think is the smarter way. You do it by age, you prioritize the comorbidities in the age, you get everybody, all the way down to their 60s vaccinated, and anybody with comorbidities, and then you just open the thing up, because after that, who cares? Twitter admits error, unfreezes Marjorie Taylor Greene's account. Hooray! Our automated systems took enforcement action on the account referenced in error. This action has been reversed, they said. Yeah, you seem to make a lot of errors in Twitter. And they always seem to be against one kind of people. Always seem to be against conservatives at key moments, at key times. Conservatives that are extremely famous and that are in the midst of either negotiating something or fighting against something or arguing against something. It's funny how that works, Jack. So no one believes this. Everybody hates Twitter, and we're looking forward to its demise. But Marjorie Greene is back. Amazon workers in several states consider unionizing ahead of Alabama vote. Why is this a good thing? Well, you get what you vote for, and you get what you promoted. Now, I'm a big fan of Jeff Bezos, but I disagree with his politics, and he seems to be supporting the Democrats quite a lot. So this is what you get. And if you're going to actually be a Democrat, then you should support this. I kind of think the Democrats won't, except maybe like AOC, but I really think the Republicans should get on board with the unions. You guys could own the unions if only you had an outreach to them. They're looking for help. You guys create more jobs than the Dems do. It's a natural. You're becoming a populist party. You're helping a working man. Connect with these guys. Connect with them. And finally, Supreme Court judge rules New York Times used deceptive disinformation to smear Project Veritas. Ooh, will they be deleted from Facebook and Twitter? Yeah, right. A New York Supreme judge last week excoriated the New York Times, suggesting they used a, quote, reckless disregard and, quote, acted with actual malice when two of their reporters deceptively presented opinions as facts in several articles denigrating whistleblower organization Project Veritas. Absolutely. What the Times did, you'll see below, was similar to countless hit pieces against Zero Hedge and others, using broad, unsupported brushstrokes to slander their ideological opponents. We can only hope that this sets a new precedent for future defamation cases. Good. Good. In stories from 2020 about Project Veritas videos, writers Maggie Astor and Tiffany the Sioux inserted sentences that were opinions despite the article being billed as news. Yeah, and this is something we covered in Wokistan. There's a section in it where our main character, Dr. Mondell, calls his friend at the New York Press. We called it the New York Press. And he says, you got to send a reporter here. The college is tearing itself apart. I got to get my side of the story out. And of course, the reporter is just completely partisan. Doesn't even interview Mondell, and it all blows up in his face. But that's where the New York Times and a lot of places like it are. They are, in my view, complete propaganda arms now. They've been bought and sold and lock, stock, and barrel, up and down. They're left. They're leftist. Not left, but leftist. They're not Democrats. They're leftist. Basically communist. Basically. And this is probably the strings are probably being pulled from China indirectly. But of course, we probably won't hear about that for like 20 years. So they just go after these guys. And part of these people, it's not that they know they're being given a stack from China. It's they're idiots who are pumped up. And that's the same as the character in Wokistan. He was this guy who was, he wasn't a journalist major. He was a gender studies major. But even in his major, he was considered an intellectual lightweight. Nobody gave him any respect. He started doing an internship at the New York Press, and they treated him like an a-hole until he wrote one of these clickbait articles, got it on the website, it took off, he became a bit of a star, and then he could turn the screws against them. And he did it not because he's a good reporter, but because he figured out what the clickbait stuff was. And the clickbait stuff is all this race and gender and woke nonsense. Once you figure that out, like, you get tons of clicks, everybody calls you, oh, you're so wonderful and smart. Let's give you a byline. Let's give you some more articles to do. And they're developing a brand, and it's like you're a rock star within the newspaper or media outlet. And that's what they build on, because they're trying to make money. But they're also total leftist. So they're okay with you saying these outrageous things. And it's not so much they're saying it because they actually believe it. I don't think they really care. I think it's all about their own prestige, their own money. And they kind of believe it, and they understand what they need to say, and they just say it. Because why shouldn't they? Why shouldn't they get all that money? Don't they deserve that money? I think a lot of these people are narcissists. They don't want to do work. They don't want to sacrifice to make things better. They just want money and power, and that's it. And they're willing to do anything to get it. And once they get into that groove, they'll do more of it. And they get greedy. And it's like, oh, well, you're paying me $100,000. Why aren't you paying me $200,000? Why aren't you paying me $500,000? Look at all these hits I got. Can't I get a raise? They never stop asking because it's never enough validation for them. Because inside, they're incredibly weak people. And that's the exact kind of people that get elevated. This is the idea of failing upwards. This is why, if you're in the business, and I've been in these kinds of businesses before, you see people zoom right past you because they're willing to do and say horrible things. And it's like, oh, this guy will do exactly what I say. Let me promote him or her or they. And, they'll keep cranking out this stuff. We'll keep making money. Because understand the editors get up there that way too. So there's, it all starts at the top. So if somebody bought the New York Times and said, hey, somebody like James O'Keefe ran the New York Times, it wouldn't be that way. It would be an actual news organization. But he runs Project Veritas. And I love how he sues everybody now. He just sues anybody comes after him, says something, doesn't check it out. Boom. They go right after him, make him print a retraction, and they take him to court. Oh, he's going to have such a video on this. I cannot wait. Congratulations, James. Another victory. Talk about a guy who just keeps winning. He is the news media's version of Trump.